Jo Kukathas is a quiet person who lives in PJ. But she lives with a lot of other people who are not quite so quiet. What she's done is that she's allowed some other characters to take center stage. Not herself so much, I think, but she's still a little quiet, as I said, but she has these characters who are very noisy and who have been around a long time, and I think she's let them speak for her a lot of the time, her alter egos.
I'm a former beauty queen. I never won lah. Always the runner-up. The runner-up hill lah. Very hard to go up the hill sometimes. But every time after 40, everything downhill already. I'm trying to defy gravity, cannot.
Hello. I know, I'm so happy. I'm a big fan of Malaysiakini, you know. Yeah, I enjoy fiction very much. So I'm a very big... Yeah.
Malaysiakini, I don't read your news lah. No, because I think your news is incorrect. No, you cannot have news like this. This is not approved news.
There's been a lot of misconception lately about the role of the judiciary. I'd like to say that the judiciary is extremely healthy.
But anyway, I said to my Amma, look Amma, I'm not getting married. Fuck this shit. Sorry, it's my French. I've been in England, you know, so we speak a bit of French over there. So I said to my Amma, look, I'm not getting married. I don't care what you say.
They all appeared at different points. For example, I think actually one of the first characters that was created was a character who's now called Ribena Berry. She's a sex kitten, stroke model, / actress / now government spokesmodel. But she first turned up, her name was originally Ambrosia Lala. Right, and she turned up because we were doing a skit about the role of the English language in Malaysian society today. Now this is 20 years ago, so things haven't really changed. Right? And the voice came actually from a PE teacher who I worked with. You know, but she had this very refined voice, so she's very proper, but she talks like this all the time. But her body was completely different. So I just liked this way this woman spoke, and so we put this character in a sketch to give her opinion. And she thought English language is very important because she likes the foreign gentleman. So she's always a little bit gata like that, but not a bad woman or a bad character. Yeah, and I think I like these characters. I don't think badly of them.
Thank you very much for inviting me here today. I'm here because I'm a government spokesmodel. They want to put a new face to the Malaysia now. So I'm here to also talk to all of you about the new virus that is affecting all of us. And some of you may have the virus already, you don't know. It's called the 1S, 1M, 1S virus. The 1 sex, 1 money, 1 scandal virus. It's a very dangerous virus. Anybody can catch it. I also have it. But it's okay. It's just it's not your fault. Everybody here in Malaysia are victim already, you know.
Well, YB has he's been around about almost more than 20 years as well, and he started off at the time in the Ministry of Misinformation. You know, so because of course we're experts at misinformation. Although he also asked, who is this misinformation and where is she spreading herself? Because if you're very good at spreading misinformation, you know, where is she? Because he wanted to meet her. So he's a bit gatal too. Actually, my characters tend to be a little bit gatal, I guess. And he has been in many ministries. He was at the Ministry of Misinformation. Then he joined the Ministry of Breaking Records. This is a time in Malaysia wanted to have, you know, a lot of records. So the tallest building in the world record, you know, the 2 tallest buildings of the world record. So you could say to the rest of the world, Malaysia, Boleh, all right?
Oh, I think it's very good, you know, because as the economy is falling, we have to make sure the buildings are going higher. So if people want to jump, it's easier for everybody. Yeah. So I think the more tall buildings, otherwise, you know why? There'll be a big queue of people waiting to jump off the buildings. Already there's a queue at Komta, Penang Bridge, everything. We have to build more tall buildings. Yeah. We have to show people, you see, we're in charge. If you don't build a building, nobody knows you're there because, you know, now we're very far away, Putrajaya there. So sometimes people forget who's in charge. And recently a lot of people making noise here, there, everywhere, Malaysiakini, where. If we start building in the middle of Kuala Lumpur, If we start building a one tall big building, there'll be traffic jam every day, there'll be dust in the air every day, there'll be hundreds of more, thousands of new migrant workers every day. Our presence, we will make our presence felt.
The other characters, there's Pon Badia. Well, actually, Pon Badia was interesting. She first turned up at the Department of Censorship. And it was at the time that, this was again a long time ago, when Steven Spielberg's films were being banned. So I think they banned The Color Purple because it's by Steven Spielberg. So we wrote this skit, a ridiculous skit where we banned all of his films for ridiculous reasons. So we banned, for example, the film Jaws, because it sounds a bit like Jews. Right, and then also because there's a scene with a dog, and which is playing on the beach, and then the dog is playing on the beach, and then the shark comes and eats the dog, but you can't eat dog because the dog was wet. Right, so we banned that film, and The Color Purple because it stars Whoopi Goldberg, which sounds rather Jewish as well. So we just Schindler's List. For obvious reasons. That was the movie that was banned, Schindler's List. So that character came out because of that. So she talked about how she wants to ban all these movies because they have things which are not our culture. But she quite likes Jean-Claude Van Damme films because his shirt rips and you can see his muscles and it's very violent. So violence is fine, but sex cannot. Yeah. So actually her name became at quite various points just Puan cannot because everything was cannot. So she's kind of an uncivil servant. And she's worked as an expert in a lot of areas. She's worked as an expert on sex education, on Malaysian ambulances, which work in this particular way. Just make sure you have an accident somewhere the ambulance is nearby, because otherwise it's no point. But it's private because it's privatized. She's worked, and now she's working in the Department of Lost and Found. Yeah, because a lot of things have been going missing in Malaysia recently.
Yeah, a lot of people are losing things nowadays, They're losing the submarine is being losing, and then the jet engine also lost. We also don't know where to find it. We went to Uruguay, then we find it there. We also find a lot of other things, got casino, got horse riding school, all owned by Malaysian, very nice. But the jet engine simply disappeared like that. A bit sad because actually the plane was still flying and then they realized got no jet engine. But it's okay, the plane managed to land safely. So then also the submarines went missing because this is the submarine which can sink. So now we only have the submarine cannot sink. So it's a bit hard. And also what else has gone missing? A lot of people have been losing things lah. So in the Department of Lost and Found, we keep the things they have lost. Like a lot of people recently have lost face. Because they have lost face and we have to keep all the face lah. The Ling Leong Sik face is there. Soilek face is there, all the cabinet face all there lah. We keep it for them until they have the time to find back their face.
Yeah, well, you can imagine when the Judge Mental Singh turned up. He turned up during, I guess, our most infamous trial back in 1998, 99. Yeah, so I think it actually started off because myself and Cam Razlan and another friend of ours were writing a skit, and Cam wrote this opening line, which was, "You stand accused of sodomy." And actually the character who the judge was presiding over the court case, actually the guy had run a red light. So in the whole skit, the whole idea is that he's actually run a red light, but the judge says, but sodomy is so much more interesting. Are you sure you didn't sodomize anybody? So every single case which comes before him, he wants to make it a sodomy case because it's just so much more interesting. There are much more dirty pictures and things like that.
The judiciary has not gone bad. We've merely become more obedient. Yes. And being obedient is very good because, being on the bench is very taxing. The benches are quite hard. Sometimes my bum gets a little bit sore. So it's much easier when somebody merely hands you an instruction and says, read it. Read it. Voice cultivated from listening to the BBC. So I can merely read the judgments. Everybody's happy. Go home, count him. Well, I've enjoyed many cases. My favorite case at the moment, of course, has to be the Teo Ben Hawk case. I mean, if you like a bit of comedy, and I do like my comedy fairly comic. I mean, I think in particular, I would nominate the DPP as Best Supporting Actor in a comedy role. I mean, anybody who knows how to strangle themselves deserves a medal, I say. And I have to say, the DPP's rendition of self-strangulation was excellent. I couldn't have done it better myself.
Yeah, and so now it's a new character. Actually, it turned up because I went to a wig shop with my friend Shegar, who's a makeup artist and designer, and he took me to this wig shop to get a new wig for Ribena Berry because she had lost her purple wig. Tragedy. And we found this huge wig, like a Spice Girl wig, scary Spice Girl. So I put it on, and suddenly I just felt this character is Curry Spice. So she's a girl from Central, right? She's a girl from Central, but she went to England for 3 months, and she's come back, and she wants to migrate. You know, she wants to go live in another country, and she doesn't want, she's always complaining about her amma, right? And she talks like this all the time. But the reason why I was interested in this character is I read this poll recently in some magazine I found quite shocking, a poll of young people, which said that 80% of people interviewed, Malaysians, young Malaysians, said they wanted to migrate. And so I thought, okay, who is this girl from Central? And she's come back after 3 months, and she wants to migrate as well. You know, my mum wants to marry the boy down the road. I've said, no way, mum. I mean, Andy's a really nice guy, but you know, he's not my type. You know, Muni Andy. I mean, I said, no, Muni Andy, it's not happening. All right, just leave it. And she's like that. So she's quite tough. So she's a bit different from my other characters. She's a bit more of a tough cookie, you know, and she's younger than a lot of the other characters as well, who've been around a long time.
But, you know, I'm a liberated woman. And I come back here and I've said to her, I think we ought to migrate. Yeah, because a lot more Indians, you know, in England, and they don't put us in Little India. You know, there's no Little India, Little China, Little this, Little that. Everybody's just in the same country with the same rights. I said, I don't want to live in a country where it's like, what, Little India? I'm not a Little India, I'm a big girl. I'm a big girl, right? Yeah, I want to go places. No, I can't go places if I'm here. You know, my talent's bigger than this country. And then they want to have this, what, talent core, bring back the talented people. I said, what about the talented people here then, mate? Oh, what about me? What about my friends? They're talented. So they said, well, fuck off. I said, well, they don't want me here, so I'm going to migrate, innit? But if they'll have, I mean, I have to apply for migration. I mean, get married. I got a boyfriend, he's black. Yeah, he's a black guy. Got a problem with that. If you got a problem with that, Amma, I mean, you got a problem with it because he's a black. We're all black, Mum. We're black as anything, you know. We all came from Africa. I mean, come on, get a life. No point putting oil in our hair, making it all straight. Our hair's not straight. Oh, unless you're Chinese. I'm not Chinese. And besides which, I don't want to marry Indian guys. They all want to marry Chinese girls with straight hair. I'm not putting straightening products in my hair. Whereas some of the men that my mum brought, I know they just, you know, end up, you know, wanting me to be in the kitchen and what, make sambar and make thosai every day. And I thought, what for you want to make me make thosai? You know, you can go to Bangsa, Dairy's Corner. They make pretty good thosai there. No, it's not really that good, actually. It's not fermented enough, you know, not like Amma used to make.
Well, I guess, I don't know if he's my favorite character, but certainly the YB character has a lot to say for himself. So he's easy to access. I mean, I often feel more comfortable channeling him because he has a lot to say about things. But I'm actually quite fond of Pon Badia. I don't know why. I just like her. I like being her because, you know, we often go to these government departments and things. We see all these ladies who work there, and maybe we can get very frustrated by them. But I often wonder who she is at home, and I just feel she's one of these people, she's caught up in a system. Maybe she's one of the characters who I feel is really the rakyat. She's part of a system, the system hasn't changed, so she can't change. She meets other people who are just rakyat, who come to meet her, try to get something from her. Something very simple, like in this show, she's working in the Department of Lost and Found, and a taxi driver comes to meet her because he's lost his passenger, right? And of course she says, oh, you're so careless. You know, that's her response, but she doesn't really have a system to help him find it, and find his passenger. And I just think these characters are, cause yeah, you know, yeah. We did the show in May, and so some people may have seen the show in May, so I guess what we're trying to say is it's a rerun of that show, but about 30% of it is new. So, yes, and so there's a new character, for example, but also we have edited the scripts, and we've rewritten one whole script, so there's all these kinds of changes as well. We've added some new songs. I won't tell you what yet.